Expedition Online is supporting some amazing organizations this year, including Martha's Table, a local DC charity that's very close to my heart, and the Susanville Symphony, which is a local Susanville charity very close to Coach's heart, as well as some other really incredible charities. So to donate, click the link below.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Final Four Challenge of Expedition Online Season 5. My name is Jessica Martin from Season 1, and with me tonight in the winners commentary booth, we have Justin from Season 2 and Kayla, our recent champion from Season 4. Welcome to commentary, guys.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here.
I love being part of the winners commentary booth.
Yes, winner's circle.
And as everyone can see, winners wear red, so I'm feeling pretty good about Team Fishback's chances.
But statistically speaking, they have a pretty good chance, given that there's one coach member left.
The fact that Fishbacks wear red and winners wear red, Jack's chances just went down a little bit, so he's going to have to pull off the true underdog story now.
So we had an interesting Final Five last night where Randy got the majority of the votes. What did you guys think going into this? Because me looking at it, I thought Robbie 100% should have been the person voted off, but they all seem so blind to him.
Yeah, it's been like his story of the season where every round I'm thinking Robbie's going to get some votes this time. And every round, no one wants to vote Robbie.
I think that Robbie has done a really good job downplaying his threat level, in addition to kind of throwing out other people ahead of him. Like, he mentioned Simona's name, he's mentioned Randy's name. So, I think that's a credit to Robbie that he hasn't been targeted, even though we're kind of seeing how big of a threat he is and how good of a player he is.
I think he actually also positioned himself in a great way. Because on the surface, everyone's going to look at Jack. And he's a very easy target that Robbie can just throw under the bus. Be like, look, you might think I'm the target, but this guy's a bigger target, so take him out.
Jack is so difficult because I do understand what Justin's saying and that he is a threat, but some people have said that he has no social game, he has no strategic game. So is he a threat or is he a GOAT? I've never had somebody go this late in the game and not know that. So I think that Robbie could potentially make a move on Simona if he feels like that is the next best player in his way. It'll be interesting to see.
The other interesting thing to me about last night was Simona voted out Randy. What seemed like she made the claim of, I need to distance myself from Robbie to make this my move. But he did it also, not even she didn't expect him to. So now she's on the last move of what can she do to differentiate herself from Robbie at this point. So you got to vote him out or you got to send this to a tie vote.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens, especially if Jack wins. But yeah, let's not waste any more time over here, and we're going to send it over to Jonathan.
Haha, baby, I'm at Final Four with only one vote cast against me. And here's the real tea. While that is great, it's also scary because the rest of the cast realizes this, right? Like, David, Simona, and Jack are not stupid, right? They realize that.
I fucking did it. I did it. I made it through Final Five. No compass, no exemption. I thought I was screwed. I was not. I didn't even get a vote.
Well, I just voted out Randy tonight, and Randy promised me up and down that we'd be Final 2, ride or dies, whatever. It just made sense. Randy was so likable. Randy was so great. And if he truly wanted to take me to the end, I apologize, Randy. I truly, deeply apologize that I was not as genuine with you as you were with me. I was genuine and sincere when I said that I adore you as a person. I love and respect you as a player. That's exactly why you had to go.
I had been weighing back and forth a lot between Randy and Robbie, who I felt like was a bigger threat to me at the end. And just because Randy wasn't making me the promises that everyone else basically has been, I did decide that it was his time to go. And, you know, technically Jack was the one to throw it out, but once I had exemption, I was pretty set on the idea of taking out Randy or Robbie, as long as the numbers were actually there. Obviously, I didn't want to make a fool out of myself and turn against my alliance and then not have the numbers to do it.
Man, I'm gonna start putting together my final plea here because I'm honestly thinking that these guys are gonna all take me to the end. I've got a very good idea of how I'm gonna pitch myself. I have a plan. I have a very good plan.
You know, looking forward, it's really hard, and my game has been very similar to Robbie's. We've been together essentially the entire game. Tonight he did end up voting for Randy, which was upsetting because I wanted that to really differentiate me. I don't know where he got the memo from.
I was not expecting the 4-1.
You were?
No, the last I talked to Robbie was not a conversation about voting Randy. So I thought I was pulling one over on him. But we pulled one over on each other a little bit.
What was your conversation like with Jack?
It was just like, thank you, like, now let's do final 3, me, you, David, like, let's lock it in.
Good. He's good with that?
That was the perception that I got, yeah. I mean, voting Robbie tomorrow will absolutely destroy.
I know.
Like 4-1 was like, what inspired your vote?
I mean, it got to a point where I just didn't feel like I was at the forefront of much at all in this game so far, and so I just wanted to be able to show, like, look, I did something. Like, right. I'm not just, like, sticking forever, like, undyingly, you know? And especially, like, the whole thing with, like, my compass, I was really dreading the idea of getting to the end and then Randy making it, like, a whole, like, I played her, like, she, you know, type of...
I think you have played a great game. Like, don't the game that you have played. I'm just so happy we are here. Can you believe we started this game together and been... Oh, boy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Poor Randy, man. Fuck.
Well, he was gagged. Like, he was absolutely just...
I couldn't even look at his face. It was 4-1, and I was a little gagged. I was like, oh.
I just found it weird. I also found it weird that Randy was pitching my name as the vote to David.
Randy talks too much. I love him, but he talks way too much. I don't know who the better person is to get out. I am pretty solid on the fact that I need to take David to the end. I think I played an incredibly calculated game, and I just have to figure out who can I beat between Jack and Robbie. I think that's the main thing that I'm weighing right now, is are people going to respect Jack's game? If the answer is no, I do want Jack at the end. If the answer is yes, then maybe I end up sitting next to Robbie. Though frankly, I do think my ideal final 3 is me, Jack, and David.
I think the fact that I have survived to Final 4 without a counted vote against me is fucking insane. I'm the only person left without a counted vote. Every single vote I've ever received has been negated. I think that's a record. And I think if I win exemption, that record stays. So it all comes down to this.
He did have successful compass plays, but that was because he needed them. And I do think I can spin it in a way to be like, I had a compass and I didn't need it, and he needed it every single fucking time. So who was in a better position? And Robbie said it, you know, he was like, my name came up, but people were willing to have my back. No one really had Jack's back. The compass had Jack's back, so.
I think I am in a good spot to win this thing. But not only that, I want to own this shit, you know? I want to be like, hey, dude, I'm fucking owning my game. I just bossed this game. Resilient, underdog, all that shit. I just bossed this game. I'm not done, but I did boss it. And if I do make it to that final ascent, I'm going to say I own this game, because I did.
What I have to think about now is how to get to the final ascent. And essentially that means Jack cannot win. If he does, it is truly just a testament to why he deserves to win this game. His perseverance, resilience, and just ability to make it through the next round is truly like a great game, in my opinion. To me, it's like we cheer for the underdog because we see ourselves in them. And it's like when you see someone who had the cards stacked against them, who was wanted out every vote since the beginning of the game, yet they're still at Final Tribal Council, give them the win. It's like, I don't want to sit next to Jack, and I'm hoping that one of us three, between myself, David, or Simona, can win this next exemption challenge so that I can vote Jack out.
I just have no idea of what the jury is gonna say. I have no clue who people are rooting for. I don't know what kind of things this jury is rooting for or looking for. Are they looking for loyalty? Are they looking for moves? I feel like typically moves, right? But
I made moves. I played the game. And that's what I do. That's what I came to do. That's what I truly signed up for, was to play the game. I just hope that they understand. But I want this so bad. I cannot say it enough. I want this so bad. And I'm so close. I am so close. I can taste it. I need Jack to not win this exemption challenge so I can reuse the vote for Jack. Listen, I've just been reusing votes. I'm ready to... Oh, shit. I'm going to tape that. I'm ready to rip his game in half and get Jack out of here.
Hello and welcome everyone to Expedition Online Monteverde. It's day 14. We are down to our final 4 explorers. And we're here for our final exemption challenge of the season. This is going to play out in 3 parts.
Greetings, explorers, and welcome to your final exemption challenge. Today's challenge will be played in 3 phases. The only materials you will need for phase 1 are a whiteboard or notebook and something to write with. I will screen share some, in other words, puzzles up onto the screen. You will write down your answer, give a thumbs up. You will get 1 point for every correct answer that you get. At the end of 10 puzzles, the 3 explorers with the highest score will move on to phase number 2. So for example, a puzzle might say something like female conundrum creator. And the answer would be challenge coordinator Jess. Phase 2 of today's challenge is called EO by the numbers. You will see a word problem of sorts displayed on the screen, and you will have to figure out what numbers fit into that word problem and then do the math to solve it. Before you can ever get started on working out the equation, you first have to do a physical task. 6 feet of floor space come into play. You will first need to do 10 spins as well as 10 high knees. Additionally, every minute on the minute, Jonathan will say, spins and high knees. You have to pause from solving the equation and do 10 more spins and 10 more high knees before you can continue solving. You didn't think we were going to take it easy on you in the final exemption challenge, did you? Be one of the first 2 explorers to solve the equation correctly, and you will move on to phase number 3. This section is called Sweep the Competition. You will place 2 of your cans into the bag. Back up so we can make sure that your broom is off the ground, and we can see your hands are holding the handles that you've created on the broom like this. You can move your arms out, bring them in. As long as the bag is up off the floor, the
The broom and the bag may not rest on your legs. At timed intervals, Jonathan will tell you to add 2 more cans to your bag. You need to keep the pressure on and be the last explorer standing with your bag, your cans, and your broom up. Good luck.
All right, looks like everybody is ready to go. We are playing best of 10. All right, we have our first puzzle. Give me a thumbs up when you have your answer. All right, got thumbs up from everyone. Let's see your answers. Unhurried rainforest dweller. Looks like everyone has said sloth. The answer is sloth. All right, that's 1 for everyone. Let's get on to the next one. Explorer's Guidance Tool. Explorer's Guidance Tool. Everyone's got their thumbs up. Let's see the answer. Probably compass. Looks like everyone's got that one right. All right, quick start. Everyone's at 2. Arduous task to gain glory. Definitely gonna have to Google that word. Not familiar. Everybody except Robbie has challenge in their answer. All right, so Robbie doesn't get the point. David, Jack, and Simona all have 3. Robbie has 2. Let's get to our next one. We are on our 4th puzzle. Junction where your fate is determined. All right, let's see your answers. We have the crossroads. Everybody getting a point there. Let's get on to our 5th of 10 puzzles. So this is number 5. Vociferous swinging primates. I only did high school English, okay, guys? Let's flip them over. The howler monkey came up a lot this season. Everybody getting a point. We still got Robbie down 1. Everyone else perfect. Let's get on to our 6th puzzle. Jungle of copious precipitation. All right, I got thumbs up from everyone. Let's see your answers. Okay, I got 2 cloud forest. I got 2 rainforest. Rainforest is correct. Jack and David take the lead. Simona and Robbie do not get the point. So we've got David and Jack at 6, Simona at 5, and Robbie at 4. We are on to our 7th puzzle. Adjacent to the blaze. Adjacent to the blaze. Those answers. I've got 1 right answer. The answer was by the fire. David gets the point, takes the lead with all 7.
David, you're so smart for that, and I actually hate you. Like, that was so smart.
We are on to puzzle number 8. Go ahead. Sight to slumber under the stars. All right, let's see those answers. The answer is camp or base camp. I didn't see your answer. Yeah. So David and Simona each getting a point. So Robbie needs to be perfect from here on. Let's get over to our 9th question. Leafy verdant hue. All right, just waiting on Simona. Okay, let's see those answers. Everybody gets it right, which is unfortunate for Robbie, as he now cannot catch up. You have been eliminated from our final exemption challenge. Sorry about that, Robbie. Let's move on now to round 2.
Good luck in part 2, everybody.
We are starting up in 3, 2, 1, go! All right, so they are starting with their 10 spins, and then we will have 10 high knees. Some different strategies. Simona's definitely done some ballerina work. David and Jack already on to solving the, I want to say puzzle, kind of a puzzle. Gonna need a big bag of tricks to get this one done. Every minute we're gonna have them repeat the 10 spins and the 10 high knees. And we're gonna do that now. Everyone, 10 spins, 10 high knees right away. All right, everyone doing a great job getting right to that. Jack flying through. David and Simona soon behind. So we'll just read out what they're looking at here. EO by the numbers. Number of explorers on day 1 times number of cups used by a single explorer on top of Monteverde challenge. Simona's already got an answer here.
Simona, that's incorrect.
Simona's first guess is incorrect. So we're going to divide by the number of ping pong balls used in Scoop It On challenge. A lot to remember here. Plus the number of explorers at Rendezvous minus number of game day.
Correct. That's correct.
Jack has an answer.
Correct.
That is correct. Jack has completed. We need to do spins and high knees. Spins and high knees. Go. So Jack is on to the final round here. Then we've just got David and Simona here fighting it out.
Simona, you've done enough spins.
Looks like David has an answer.
That's correct, David.
And that is correct for David. As David has completed, Simona, unfortunately, you have been eliminated from the challenge. Thanks a lot, Simona. All right, gentlemen, this is it. One of you will be going directly to the final 3. The other one will have to see what happens at the crossroads this evening. Let's start it up in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, so a lot on the line. Final ascent is right there. Hate to be the last person to be deserted at the crossroads and not get your chance. Jack's the only member left from Team Coach. David representing Team Fishback, along with Simona and Robbie. So Jack carrying a lot of weight on his shoulders right now. Both guys looking very steady. Looks like they've got their grip. They've got it figured out how they want to do it. Pure endurance. I'm sure after a few minutes, there's going to start to be a little bit of pain. Fingers are probably going to start to go numb a little bit. Arms are going to get tired. This could have a huge impact on tonight's vote, on the final ascent, on who's the winner. Everything. Everything on the line right now. 3 weeks of gameplay, all coming down to this exemption challenge. And for the viewers at home, do not forget that you can donate to the prize pool by clicking on the link in the description. Also, make sure that you like and subscribe to our page and ring the bell for notifications for upcoming videos. All kinds of bonus content coming out. All right, we are at the 5-minute point. You guys can go and grab the other 2 pop cans. Go ahead. You've got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2 seconds, 1 second.
Are you serious?
All right, let's get it up. And Jack is out of the competition. David has won the final exemption challenge and will be in our final 3. All right, guys, we have our final exemption winner. David has exemption, can't vote for David. Whoever has the most votes will be the last member of our jury. The other 3 will make up our final 3 at the final ascent. Good luck.
Tried and true. One more time.
Yeah.
I think
Aw.
it's only right. All right.
Well, there's only one room.
Someone's got to stay here.
I'll stay here.
I'll stay here.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I can't believe it. I'm so happy. Oh my god. This just makes me feel better because if it was fire, he told me last night, yeah, I would put you to fire if I win, so blah, blah, blah. So fuck you. You don't get the chance to do that. Sorry. Sucks to be you. Sucks to be the last member of the jury. That's where my vote's going. No question is asked.
My bag was too tight on the room.
I'm so sorry, Jack. That's such a
It's okay.
bummer.
That's okay. What's next?
I can't do math. I learned to do
Ugh, man, that sucks.
that. Does suck.
Well, you know my pitch.
Yeah, what's your plea? I'll take a plea. I mean, I can give you a plea too. We're both voting.
Like we said last round, I do think Robbie is still the biggest threat out of anybody left. Still think he's got a lot of respect from the jury. Obviously, I'm not going to vote you. I'll be voting Robbie. That's very clear to me. That's very clear. That's what I will be doing. But all I can hope is you see the benefit in getting rid of Robbie over me, because I do think Robbie has played the better overall game. Maybe not the challenges as much, but he has played definitely stronger in basically almost every facet of the game. So
Simone is on the fence, and she was on the fence when I talked to her last night, and I was doing everything in my power to try and sway her to vote with us. I really fucking hope it doesn't come down to a 2-2 split. You know I got your back, and I'm gonna do everything I can to lobby for you tonight.
I just want to tell Simona, like, it doesn't make sense to give that underdog another thing to add to their resume
Right.
at the final ascent. Like, that's dumb. It's like, if he beats me, it's like, why would the jury not be like, he's fought his way the entire game? Literally from the very first vote until final ascent, he's had to work to get there. And that's respectable.
It'll be like all the winners who in Survivor pulled all the tricks out of their hat and won the respect from playing from the bottom, like Ben and Mike Holloway, and I don't know. That's not. I hate those seasons. Worlds Apart sucks. HHH sucks. This season has been too good for it to finish like that. Okay. Ugh. God damn it.
What, does Simona not think that she could beat me, or does she feel like she's trying to separate her game from mine because we played the whole game together? Or
I think it's the latter. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be transparent with you. I am not set. I've definitely been weighing that over the past 24-ish hours. I need to talk to David.
Yeah.
I don't want to promise you one way or another, obviously. Yeah. I respect you, and I do respect your game. And I definitely, I do see the harm, I think, for me specifically, of bringing Robbie to the end. I'm just trying to figure out which harm is greater. So
you and Robbie have had a very similar path, if not nearly the same path this season. So if you two go to the end and you've played the same path, but the jury perceives him to have just done that better, then where are you going to be?
this is a terrible decision to have to make. Do we want to do a swap?
Sure. Let's
Do you want to plead to David? Do you want to talk to Robbie about how you're going to vote for each other? What's the...
I think I'd like to plead to David next, if that's okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I'll help out. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If I am a tight bag away from losing, I'm gonna be so upset. I had that. Like my arms were burning, but I had that. I was not dropping. And kills me. It kills me, dude.
And you're gonna pitch him her, right?
And I'm gonna tell him straight up, I'm voting for you. Like, I'm not going to even bull crap him, BS him. And honestly, do you think you BSing him is the best move here, considering he might be on the jury?
I don't expect his vote regardless.
Hmm.
Him not giving a shit to what anybody's saying in a social conversation. Genuinely don't feel like he knows anything about me because he's looking for compasses the entire time we talk. And I just think that's disrespectful. You should be able to do both. Sorry. Or in my case, not look at all because I don't fucking care. But I don't know. I got your back tonight, so I hope that makes you feel a little bit better.
It does. It does. I would hope that Simona is good.
Hello, David. Jack would like to play to you.
Simona, I want this to be the final three so badly.
Hi, Jack.
Simona, can I talk to you by the fire?
Me?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, David. Let me ask, what do you need to hear from me? Like, what is your biggest concern, or like, what's on your mind?
I'm threatened by both you and Robbie at the end. To be honest, and I'm not completely sure who.
Hello.
Hi. Listen. I know you're on the fence. But I can give you reasons as to why you should take me over Jack.
Okay.
Jack has this underdog story, right? And I know it might seem like he had to compass his way through the game. But if he gets to the end after being targeted truly from his very first crossroads, like what kind of story is that at the end? The last fishback, the last he's had his name written down at every crossroads he's attended except for 2. And yeah, he had to compass his way there. He was loyal to the 6, so like Lady K and Jenny would vote for him. I feel like Mike will respect the game that he's played, and if people start to put away the like, I guess him gloating or whatever, it's like he has a rootable story, and I believe unless David is BSing me, David would give me fire here, and it's like if Jack beats me, it's just another thing to be like, I fought my way to the end type deal. Like, so he might just be telling me that, but I just don't see the point in giving him fire and him. I told you I'm terrible at challenges. Is there? I'm curious. Is there a reason why you would be tempted to vote me out here?
The only reason, and like I'll be transparent because there's no point in not being transparent. I think the main thing is just that we've played so similarly and we've really played together for like the entirety of the game. And so like my fear is that we get to the end and the jury sees that and then you outdo me in like small ways, and that's like the deciding factor. And like I don't think there's much I can do about that. And I don't think that's necessarily like the truth. I just don't know what the jury's perception is gonna be.
Here's the thing. I don't want you to count yourself out. I feel like if it truly
No,
is
I'm
me,
not.
David,
I'm not. I just have to like obviously have to weigh that as like a possibility, right? Like I'm just running the scenarios, right? And like it would suck to like lose because of small things. But like
yeah.
Like I'm worried about sitting next to you. I'm worried about sitting next to Jack.
Look,
It's not exclusive to you.
Just get there and own your shit. You are the last woman standing. You're playing for Planned Parenthood. You are a badass woman who is here. Like the first person of the game voted out was a woman. I believe the second person voted out was a woman. The first 3 people voted out in jury were women. You are here. You have played compasses. You gave Randy a compass. You knew where the votes were going. Yeah, you like might have thrown a vote to protect yourself, but that's playing the game. Like when a game where there's been that many compasses played, you have played a game that has been what's best for your game. Yes, we have been together the entire time, but there's things that you've done for the best interest of your game. There's things that I've done. Like it's not like we voted the same every time. It's not
No,
like
we
we
haven't.
have it's not like I'm telling you Simona vote here or you're telling me Robbie vote here. We have done
Right.
things and let's get to the final ascent and just hash it out. Listen, if you beat me, I will gladly like bow down to you because you deserve it. You played a good ass game and I want you to own that, but like losing to Jack,
I know.
that underdog story, like everybody, I feel like Lady K, the most motivation, like the biggest damn near player of the game, is going to be talking him up in the jury. And if Lady K can convince as many people as she did to do the things that she wants to do, Jack is easily the biggest threat to win this game. What, 5 compasses, an exemption win, targeted from the very first vote of the game? Like, yeah, he was annoying sometimes, but it's such a rootable story. Like the last coach, like, would you not want to vote for that? I like it. Yeah,
No.
it sucks. He compassed his way to the end, but like,
Yeah. The thoughts have been going. I just
and
need
look,
to make sure David and I are on the same page.
you have my game in your hands right now. Like, so that's another thing that you could say. I wouldn't even be at Final Ascent if it weren't for you. And I'll own that. I you and David truly like have my game. And unless David is BSing me, David is voting Jack tonight. I don't know why you would BS the final juror. I've been with you from the beginning of this game, and I would love to end this game with you. If I lose against you, if I win next to you, I've had a great time playing with you. I'm not going to hold anything against you. I want you to do what's best for your game, and I do think voting Jack here is the best thing for your game.
I don't want it to come down to a challenge. And you know what?
No.
I think Jack will win it, and it'll be something he can use to be like, and I even did this. And you know what I mean? I don't want that. And I feel like you and me and Robbie have made strong connections. And I feel like that's what this game should be about, and not just someone who played like Mike Holloway in Worlds Apart or HVHVH, Ben Dreeberger, whatever. And you know what? Those 2 seasons fucking suck. And we're too good for that, especially to let him win. I refuse. I will be a 0-vote finalist before I let Jack be the representative and winner of this fucking season. Are you kidding me? Over my dead fucking body? No. And I respect both of you enough that if I lose to either of you, I'm like, I'm fine. I respect and like the way that you've both played this game. Whereas, like I said before, if you fucking won, I would vomit on the screen. Like, no.
Oh man.
Hi, Robbie.
Jack, how you doing, bud?
I'm all right. How are you?
I feel like you and I are both in very similar spots here.
Yep.
It's one of you or I going. So I have to be honest, I am voting for you tonight. Again, I told you last night, I respect the hell out of the game that you played.
And I do as well.
If they do vote me out here, I will be. I have not told them this. I do think that you have a great chance to win the game, which is why I'm voting for you. I feel like you have played a very strong game, back against the wall, like very like underdog type game. But I feel like it's been a very rootable, very fun, very like. I have nothing but respect for the game that you played.
Thank you. You know that whole like teeth and gums analogy. Weird, but I used that analogy at the crossroads last night. I think you have done the teeth and the gums. You have the gaps filled in. And that's why I respect you. And that's why I'm voting for you tonight, because I also respect the hell out of you. And I'm not going to let David or Simona know either, but you will probably get my vote if I go home. So
I appreciate that. Same here.
absolutely respect the hell out of you, dude. And I don't know what they're thinking. If
Oh, talk to everybody. I don't like totally listen to what you have to say, Jack. I wonder if Jack's saying you.
But Robbie wouldn't. He's not.
No, I know he wouldn't. I know he wouldn't.
I would be annoyed.
I'd be annoyed too.
Fuck. Okay, do you want to go back? Okay, I just want to say it's really funny how they're all fighting for my vote. Like I'm the one with exemption. Like let's talk about that.
so, it feels like it's gonna be me or Robbie tonight. I want to know where your head is at now, because I'd rather you be honest than I don't have a compass, so you don't got to worry about that. But yeah, I'd just rather honesty. So
Yeah, I'm leaning towards you.
sure.
I'm not 100%. I'd say I'm like 55, 60% to be honest. I won't really know until I go into the vote booth, and I'm sorry, but
It's all right. I don't know. From what I've gathered, I just feel like Robbie has a better chance to get a larger majority of the votes than I do. Whoever has the best individual strength as a player is going to emerge, and I do think that is Robbie. So I think if the three of you stick together, is a really tough hurdle to overcome.
I'm
Thank you.
leaning one way, but we'll see how I feel when I get there.
Thank you. One tight shopping bag. One shopping bag could be the end.
Hello.
Hey, Simona. I don't have a compass, so you don't have to worry about me playing any. Where's your head at? You, him, and Robbie have played all very similar games. And so when it comes to potentially putting down other people's games, there is not a lot that you guys can do about each other, because if you have played similar games, what's the point? Because all the points you're going to use to propel your own game could very easily be said about the other people. And so, if someone who, Robbie, has individual strengths that are better than you and David, those are going to shine more, because in a sea of pretend these pens look exactly the same, if this one writes with red ink and these two write with black ink, the red ink is going to stand out. If you take me, you and David both know my game, you can shit on it as much as you want, because you know my game and you know it's different than yours. You have a different case. You could just throw my game in the mud because you know every single nook and cranny of it. You know where I've been this entire game, and you could put it down 100%. That's it. I truly think it is the best move for you and David to vote Robbie. Truly, because I do think he wins 100%. It's your call, but truthfully, I think to separate yourself from him, you gotta vote him out. And that's it.
All right, welcome everyone to the final crossroads of the season. We have 4 explorers remaining, 3 from the original Team Fishback, 1 from the original Team Coach. David, though, with the all-important exemption tonight. We got to talk about your position coming into tonight, as you must have been pretty popular.
Yeah, I was very popular. I'd like to think I was popular before this. I don't know. Not that I was the mean girl in school in terms of Expedition Online Season 5, but, you know, people chat with me. I'm pretty fun. But yeah, definitely everyone wanted to talk to me. I know that I would have wanted to talk to whoever had won the challenge, so yeah, just very grateful that my rubber bands were sturdy, because really didn't think that I had that one.
Well, how did you approach going into the strategy time, knowing that you're safe, definitely going to be one of the other 3, So at this point, was there any particular person that you went to right away and was like, "Hey, definitely not voting for you," or were you listening to all and everyone?
I was listening to all, but to be completely blunt, it's really between two people, and that person who it's not is Simona, and I think Simona knew that. So tonight it's kind of just between Jack and Robbie.
All right. So Simona, I mean that's got to be nice to hear here at the Crossroads.
I mean, you never want to say you're safe. Like, that's the worst thing to ever say in this game. But I definitely found myself in kind of an interesting position where, like, Jack and Robbie were definitely pitching to me, or at least it felt that way. And so, I mean, in some ways that's nice because it means I probably have a spot at the end, or it means I'm being completely bamboozled. But the reason for that could be loyalty, or it could be they think I'm beatable, and one of those things is a nicer reason than the other, for sure.
Yeah, and as far as the decision between Robbie and Jack, how were you deciding between them? Was it strictly on their resume, or how your game stacked up against theirs? What were kind of your...
I mean, I think those two things that you mentioned kind of go hand in hand. But it's both. You know, you have to consider all factors. You know, I definitely have been pondering this for a minute. And I've definitely changed my mind multiple times in the last 24 hours about what I think this decision should end up being. It's hard, you know. Jack and Robbie specifically have played very different games. And so it's hard to compare apples to oranges in a lot of ways. And the hardest part is that you don't know at all, and I said this yesterday, and I mean it, you don't know at all what the jury is thinking, and you can guess, and you can put yourself in their shoes, and you can, like, do all these things, but at the end of the day, right, we don't know if these people are extremely bitter, we don't know if a lot of time has passed and they're now, like, all level-headed, like, we don't know what types of conversations everyone was having in private. There's a lot to weigh and a lot of information that we're just not gonna have. So it's definitely a hard decision to make, and you have to take everything into account.
Okay. Robbie, does it surprise you at all to hear that it was either that the conversation was mostly wrapped around you and Jack, or is that something that was well known?
I think it was well known. Everybody was pretty transparent. I understand why, but I here though, I feel like Simona played a great game as well. Of course, we can't write down David's name, so it's not like it's just because Jack or I played a better game. I think it could be like when people think about their game and they think about what game they want to sit next to, and that's why it's come down to Jack or myself.
How do you approach going into the strategy session then? I mean, you're mainly pitching to, it sounds like, David and Simona. I mean, what kind of things are you bringing up? Is loyalty big on you know, were there deals that were made past this point, or is it just strictly Jack's played a better game than me, we need to get Jack out?
I never said Jack played a better game than me, but it is partially loyalty, and just Jack is a very admirable, rootable player. Jack has had his name written down at every Crossroads, I believe, except for 2. 6 compasses. He's had exemption wins. He's the last coach person. It's like, you know, we tend to cheer for the underdog because we see ourselves in them, and it's like if the jury can resonate with his story, Jack could be the representative of Expedition Online 5, and I think that is why Jack needs to join the jury tonight.
I mean, Jack, that's a fair point. Resume, just speaking on the stats, you're wielding some pretty impressive stats up to this point. What kind of arguments are you making going in?
The first time I feel like I'm speechless at a crossroads. Like, there's so many things I feel like I could say, but I can't. I'm gonna avoid your question and instead say 3 things. Number 1, Robbie definitely did not say that I had played a better game than him. I will go out on a limb and say that Robbie has played a better game than me. That's number one. Number two, jumping back to your question, stats can mean a lot of things, but they're numbers on paper. 6, 2, 1, 4, whatever they may be, they're numbers on a piece of paper. And so if you don't have the gaps to fill them in, truthfully, what's the point? I don't think I have those gaps to fill them in because I just haven't played that cleanly. I fucked up many times, whereas I think Robbie has not. And I think he's played smoother. It's a rounder shape. Mine is a squiggly line that a second grader drew. His is a circle drawn by an architect or an engineer. I've misplayed 2 compasses. 3, at the very beginning of the game, I misplayed a compass. I have had people against me, and not just in terms of against me strategically in the game. Some people have genuinely been like, we're never going to work with Jack. We're never going to give Jack any respect. In my opinion, when it comes to respect and a smoother game, Robbie has that. And frankly, I don't know if I do. And I don't think I do.
Jack, all of that, and you're still here.
And I'm still here because I've had to fight basically by myself. Does that mean anything? Because if I haven't really worked with, I didn't work with Lori, I didn't work with Madison, I basically didn't work with Mike. I worked with Randy on 1 vote, and then we basically just split off. I have not had comfort in this game because I've had to do it by myself, and I don't think people are going to respect that. Whereas you have had people play with you. You've had people who have been willing to jump onto the ship with you. When people saw me on the ship, they wanted to jump off. So, truthfully, I respect the hell out of you, man. But I do think you have played a better game than me. And I know that these two have all the ammo to rip me apart at that final ascent.
All I can say is, again, all of that goes right into the underdog story, and it sounds like a great final ascent opening speech. I'm going back on mute.
That's it, Jonathan.
David, what's your perception of the jury and how they're viewing the game? And I mean, Jack made some points, Robbie made some points. There's a lot of different ways to look at this game, right?
Yes, there are so many angles that you come at this with, or come at this from. It's very challenging. You only hear bits of pieces in terms of what people's overall sentiments are and how their approach to the game is, and I think that's very important. But when you're in the game and you have that hour or so just to strategize, you can only get so much out of someone, and they're usually just talking about that one vote. But you don't really get a chance to talk to people about overarching themes of what they appreciate, what they value. I get little tidbits like hearing someone say, I distinctly remember someone who's on the jury saying, you know, I identify with the underdog because XYZ. And then you think about other things that I've heard other people say about what they prefer, and I don't know. So it's really hard to gauge.
Simona, what are the main factors that you're looking at when you're kind of deciphering of who am I going to vote out, but also who do I want to go up against?
I mean, it's hard. It's everything. You know, you're looking at loyalty, you're looking at track record, you're looking at stats, you're looking at voting accuracy, right? You're looking at all these different things that play into a jury's view of who someone is, because this, if ever, this is the night that you make a decision based on the jury. This is the night that there's no tomorrow, there's no how am I gonna get there unless y'all are playing us. Like, there's no how do I make sure I'm here the next day. It's who am I sitting next to? How do these different people speak? You know, who speaks in a way that's compelling? Who speaks in a way it's who do I think the jury respects more? It's not really at all, frankly, about loyalty at this point. And I mean, for me, I've been loyal to all 3 of these guys at different points of the game. And so that for me is out of the picture. And I mean, there's a little bit of like, how do I get to final ascent, right? That's definitely still a thought in my mind because I'm not exempt, right? There could be something else going on that I'm not aware of, and that would be a great play, frankly, in my opinion. Yeah, there's a lot to consider. It's both, who am I going to take with me? Who am I getting rid of? Who are they gonna vote for? All of those things are definitely things that I have been heavily considering.
Very thoughtful answer. Thank you. Robbie, given the situation, I just want to give you one last opportunity. If you have anything that you want to add on or say, we're about to get to the vote. I'm going to go to Jack again next. It seems you guys are the popular ones at the time.
I don't have anything to say. I think I've made it clear where I'm voting tonight. With much love and respect, Jack, I'm voting for you.
All right, Jack, do you want to give you the same respect?
Yeah, obviously Robbie knows as well where I am voting. But frankly, not just now, at the end as well. I will say it now. I am 100% voting Robbie if he makes it to the end. And you guys are great, but I do think Robbie has played the best game. And my last thing is, when taking a look at it all, if you all do have similar games, you have 3 pens. 1, 2, 3. 3 pens. These 2 got black ink. This one's got blue. What are people gonna look at? When there's basically nothing different about them except for the color of the ink. The blue. If you guys have perfectly similar games, they're gonna look at Robbie strikes more, and they're gonna highlight them more because they are stronger. And that's it.
Or they can look at you, the marker, and say, you know what? Sometimes my ink.
My example, Robbie, there were 3 pens.
So, love your analogy, but can we vote, please?
I think it's time.
All right. Open up the floor one last time. If David or Simona have anything that they'd like to say, I'd hate for not give Simona the opportunity and then something crazy happens. All right. There are no advantages in play, so we can get right to the vote.
Robbie, Jack, you have both played incredibly strong games in different ways.
This, if I do go home, will not be the last vote I cast for you.
And if it comes down to fire and I gotta do the damn thing, best believe I'm going to give it my all. And with that being said, my vote is for the Compass King, the underdog, Jack.
All right, everyone, the votes are in. Our first vote this evening is for Jack. Second vote is for Robbie. Third vote is for Jack. Our fourth vote is for Jack. Sorry, Jack, you have been deserted here at the crossroads and will be joining our jury as the last member. All that we have left now is the final ascent, where you guys will have a chance to plead to the jury.
That has been probably one of the wildest rides I've ever experienced in a game, and if it had to end on this one, I think I'd be content. So,
What if he pulls the jump to final ascent advantage out of his pocket? If anyone has it, it's him. I think we're on the same page. I enjoyed making Robbie shake a little bit, though.
Okay. I really don't want Jack to be in the end. I wasn't sure after our conversation last night.
I know. Well, I wasn't sure either. Like, to be frank.
If I even make it there, you could say his ass wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for me, and I'd be like, she's right. Okay.
Okay. I had to make him shake. Like, this would be no fun otherwise. Like, come on now.
Y'all, so thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna take a shot for us.
Yeah, I'm about to go pour one as well because, baby,
I'll eat my nachos.
Simona, you took a hot minute when you were voting, and I was like, please don't tell me that she didn't vote for Jack.
No, I do a little speech every time.
I just celebrated and said, Jack, don't come back.
I think when people look at this season, they're not going to look at the winner. They're going to look at me.
What a Final Four challenge. That was a nail-biting end. It could have dramatically changed the outcome of tonight's vote.
Yeah, I think Jack looked heartbroken as soon as his bag fell. Like, he knew there he was in big trouble, and I felt bad for him, but I don't think he positioned himself well enough for this end game where he could get through this without winning this challenge.
Yeah, it's interesting the past couple days to see that Jack has actually opened up more to the other players and shared stuff about himself with them. He's found common interests. He likes theater, David likes theater, Robbie likes theater, and I think it's too late for him to solidify these bonds, and if he did that earlier in the game, it would have changed the outcome of this.
I totally agree. I mean, he really did turn it around. He did seem like a different player than he was at the beginning, but they just weren't hearing him. You know, the door had been closed a long time ago. So, you know, it didn't work out for him, but he really, really tried. He really went out swinging, and he became a very, very rootable character in the end.
I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I think that switch in his game kind of started when he didn't have a compass anymore in his pocket. It's almost like these compasses have saved him, but at the same time, they've been hurting his game where he's not progressing it in the way of making these relationships that are important at this phase of the game where that compass isn't going to help you. And I think he made the only points he could make to this final three to potentially save himself. But he made one metaphor at the point of the whole, I'm the orange, you're all apples. And I think his problem is they didn't see that as a negative. All three of them, I think, wanted to be with the other apples. And they all had main character, and then pens. They all wanted to be the red pens with the blue pen going home. They made up their mind, I think, from the beginning of all three of them saw themselves as, I have the one extra thing with the other people that played a similar game to me. So they don't want to bring along this other person who could say, this is the other things I did.
Yeah, all of Jack's points about Robbie were spot on tonight, but he has been the blind spot for so many players this whole season. And it's amazing that the last vote was the first time his name has come up the entire game.
And there should be no reason for that. There should be no reason for that, other than a testament to his really, really impressive gameplay so far.
He has been the only player this whole game that has been on the correct side of votes, every vote. And I don't think a single person on the jury realizes that.
And not only that, but he basically has had a hand in who went home too. Not only was he on the right side, but he was controlling the votes a lot of the times too. He absolutely knows what he's doing, and I don't think that Simona really knows what she's up against, and the decision that she made to keep him instead of maybe going for him when she had the shot.
It'll definitely be interesting to see where Randy votes amongst all of this, as he was working tight with her and Robbie.
Yeah, and I think also Jack going to the jury with this underdog story where it seems like the jury's going to respect his game and his opinion. So I think him coming to the jury and having a couple days to be able to talk to them and say, this is who I think played the best while I was still in there, is going to have a big sway on who can ultimately walk away with the win.
Absolutely. I think Jack is probably going to be the biggest voice in the jury right now. And I think he seems like someone that respects the game and will be very reasonable with his vote and not just vote for someone because he likes them.
And another thing I think that helped Robbie tonight was he went into this with, Jack, I'm voting you. I'm not going to BS you. I think you're my biggest threat, and I have to put your name down. Like, I think Simona and David both kind of were like, oh, no, we'll hear you out. I might save you here, when I don't think either of them ever intended to. And I think kind of going to the jury, Jack can be like, no, Robbie's a stand-up guy. He told me exactly. I understood why he did it. He told me why he did it. and it makes sense to me, and this is why you played better than the other two.
I think that it's probably going to come down to David and Robbie, two polar opposites as far as gameplay this entire season. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it'll be a very interesting final ascent. But the one thing we do know is that another winner will wear red. So congratulations to Team Steven Fishback. You will have the next winner of Expedition Online. We can't wait to find out who it will be, so stay tuned for the final ascent, and we will see you next time.
I can't tell you how long I've waited to do this and it to actually mean something. Jack, don't come back. Go to the jury. I have nothing else to say. See you later.
One bag, one tight bag, ends it all potentially. Cast for you. If this is the last vote I do cast, it has been a wild ride, and I appreciate all of you for sticking with me for it. Thank you.
I've been recycling votes all season. Let's see here. I got a good Mike vote. I got a good Randy vote. Lori, Jenny, Cole. It's like money at this point. I could be blindsided here, but it would be very shitty of them to blindside the final juror before sending me there, so I'm pretty sure the vote is going to go as planned tonight unless one of them pulls a quick one. Great game, bud.
At the end of the day, I have to take the route where I think I'm going to have a better chance. I'm hoping that, it's harder to compare apples to oranges. If you like one better, you like one better, but maybe my apple will be a little less bruised and people will like mine better. So that being said, I'll be casting my vote for Jack tonight. Jack, I love you. I have so much respect for you. This is where I have to go to better my game because I think I'd be a fool not to.
If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications so you don't miss any upcoming episodes or bonus content.
I really thought Holden was going to be here for the long haul.
You're welcome. No. Like in the building.
Hi, Simona's roommate, her friend.
I don't know how to say that first word. I'm just going to embarrass myself.
Arduous.
I think we can all read it. No, not even.
Vociferous.
Thank you. That was.
I was playing along, and the first one I had no idea, and it was the most obvious one, Expedition, and I was like, I don't think so. That's a lot of words for Expedition.
That's our winner.
My three favorites are Dixon, Schneidman, and Gideon from season 2.
I don't remember the kid's name, but he's a kid. He wore a red shirt in the first one. Had a very spicy personality.
Hey guys, my name is Anthony. I may look 13 years old, but I am actually 18. I want people to think that I am nice, but in reality, I am Satan. So let's get it.
Did Bill play season 3?
Yeah, he did.
Fucking tragic.
Less trauma.